G'day guys, your old pal Nick here, and welcome back to the Bulldog Fanatic YouTube channel. And in today's video, we're reviewing the epic Friday night clash where the Bulldogs once again won another close game, this time by 6 points against the Hawthorn Footy Club, 77-71. Let's get into it. So that's right, the Bulldogs won their sixth game by 6 points or less. Absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Just insane. Another close win. Another game that tested the heart rate. But it wasn't like that for a lot of the game. Because honestly, at the end of the second quarter and during half time, I was crashing the F out. Because we were down by 27 points and it looked like a typical game against Hawthorn where they were controlling the ball with their uncontested arcs and, using their run and carry, and getting good looks at goal, and our midfield having no answer against Hawthorn. It looked like that, and the stats back that up. They slaughtered us in clearances and in uncontested marks in the first half. And I just thought, are we really going to do this again against Hawthorn, where Sandwich was going to comprehensively outcoach Luke Beveridge? So, yeah, that's what I was thinking half time. But fortunately, that changed thanks to an epic comeback in the second half that I will remember forever. So, what a change in fortune, hey? This game was very feisty. There were melees at all of quarter time, half time, three-quarter time. Just the wrestles and the spot fires. Like, I think 10 players or something like that got fined from the game. It was just a very feisty and physical affair. And that's, I think, a big reason why we won. Hawthorn used a lot of energy on fighting, our players. And I think we took that personally. I think we used that. We used the physicality that Hawthorn were trying to do to us and try to physically bully us as, motivation to win. I'm not sure. I'm probably talking stuff out of my butthole here, but I just thought that we came with a physicality, especially after halftime. We weren't going to cop any more bullshit from Hawthorn. We weren't going to let them bully us this time, and that's what I fucking loved. We had that dog in us, that tooth and nail. So that was very good to see. And unlike Nick Watson, who walked the walk, we talked the talk, as in the Bulldogs, in the second half. And I was just so satisfying. It's just a win that we've needed against Hawthorn. Well, I've been wanting that win against Hawthorn for years now. They've had the wood over us for the last 4 or 5 games, and it's just nice to see us beat those Hawks and just humble them just a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, we were clutch again, and it's just very nice to see that when the going gets tough late in games, we are able to stand up under pressure, especially defensively, because Hawthorn, for the majority, well, I would say maybe the last 4 or 5 minutes last quarter, it was at that end of the ground. And we had to withstand so many entries, and so many moments of brilliance from the Hawthorn players that could have led to a goal. Whether it be Josh Weddle marking or whatnot, or just some great tackling pressure from some of their defenders and midfielders that led to a barrage of entries. They had their chances, Hawthorn, and on the expected score, they were expected to win by 20 points. But in the end, you got to take your chances in this game. It's a make or miss league. And, well, they didn't take their chance throwing on the second half, kicking 1 goal 11. Oh, we definitely took our chances, kicking 12 goals 5 in the end. So, yeah, it's usually in Bulldogs games, it's the other way around, where we're the ones inaccurate and we either lose those games, but not this time. It's all on the scoreboard at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what other stats you win or lose. It's all about the scoreboard, and the Bulldogs won the most important stat, which is the scoreboard. So that was very, very satisfying. We were able to clutch up both in front of the sticks and defensively, holding the barrage that Hawthorn did in those last 4 or 5 minutes of the last quarter. I want to talk about some individuals, and I got to start with the man who returned to AFL footy for the first time in 637 days. His last game before Friday night was the 2024 elimination final against the Hawks at the MCG. And that is Mr. Cody Waitman. God, it was so good. So good seeing him back just on the field, just seeing his energy and his beautiful blonde hair running around. Just, he's like the spiritual leader of the team. He gives us energy, he gives us good vibes, and boy, it was on show. I like how he used him. He had low time on ground. It was like in the 60s, but I like how he played him up the ground, on the wing, playing higher forward. Just make sure we're getting involved and not getting bogged down and playing purely small forward. because we already have Arthur Jones and Riley West playing there. So it was nice to see him get up the ground, get some nice touches, and he looked clean. He didn't look too rusty at all, which is very nice to see after a long layoff and no VFL. So he seemed to fit in well, pretty good. He didn't kick a goal, but that's okay. I'm just glad he got through the game unscathed, and he looked pretty good when he had ball in hand. So that was very nice to see. Welcome back, Cody, and hopefully kicks his first snag of the season against the Crows on Thursday night. Tim English is our MVP. Tim English is our most valuable player, because there was an incident late in the first quarter where he and Pont collided heads, and English came off worse for wear. He had a bloody top of the nose. His nose was a bit cooked, like right here. So yeah, I thought, I was seeing online at quarter time, I was like, oh my god, he's concussed. Oh my god, he's concussed. Like, I was in the rooms, and I was like, oh my god, not again. And thankfully he wasn't. He came back on early in the second quarter, and he played really well. He showed his presence in the ruck by laying some nice taps to the midfield in the second half, and also getting forward and kicking that huge goal in the last quarter on a mismatch. So it was very, very good to see. He got beaten a few times by Lloyd Meek, one-on-one contest, but wasn't ideal. But hey, at least he was playing. Because if he didn't play and he was out of the game with concussion, I don't think we would have won that game. Because he did help us turn us around in the clearances by getting good control of the ruck in the second half. And without that, we don't win the game. So it was very nice to see Tim English get through the game. God, it's always nervous when one of our players goes near Tim English's head. Stay away, boys, from Tim English's head, please, because that's a very important player. He's a very important player for us, and in my opinion, our most important. I gotta talk about this guy again, because God, I love him more and more, as the weeks go on. Michael Selwood. He had one of the hardest jobs in footy, and that is matching up on Nick Watson. Now, I gotta say, Nick Watson was winning that battle at halftime, kicking 3 goals and basically being a huge influence and probably being the best player on the ground at halftime, and basically getting involved in every one of Hawthorn's scores. It was very, very terrifying. But Nick Watson talked some shit at halftime about Michael Selwood to Ben Dixon on Fox Footy, and so he's got to walk the walk. You got to talk the talk. If you got to talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And those words came back to bite him in the ass, because Nick Watson only had the 2 touches in the second half and none in the last quarter. And Michael Selwood did a very good job, matching up on him better. And also just doing very good work in his own Selwood, where he'd be getting spoils and intercept possessions and taking intercept marks. And he got the last laugh because the Dogs won, and Michael Selwood got a coach's vote. Nick Watson did not get a coach's vote, so that is pretty satisfying. And he got in Nick Watson's head. He wasn't going to back down from Nick Watson talking shit, and I love that. He's got that dog, Michael Selwood. The ultimate Bulldog player if I've ever seen one. He wasn't going to back down from, the flashy, pizzazz that Nick Watson has. And I love it. Thank you, Michael Selwood. I'm not saying Nick Watson was bad, but jeez, Michael Selwood made him work for it. Thank you, Michael Selwood. You made the Wizard disappear in the second half. Another guy I got to talk about is Will Lewis, another unsung hero for us. One of those bottom 6 players for us that are the difference between winning and losing games in these close games for the Bulldogs in season 2026. Now, to be honest, he wasn't amazing. He took a couple of marks and he kicked a goal, but his main role I loved was just pissing off James Sicily as much as possible. Throwing James Sicily off his game a little bit. Sicily was still really good. He had quite a lot of disposals, hooked some very nice marks. His kicking was pretty good, but in the second half especially, Will Lewis made James Sicily annoyed. And I love that because, Sicily in recent years has calmed down a bit. He doesn't throw as much of a tantrum as he used to. But we threw him off a little bit to the point where he was getting engaged in stuff and he was using energy where he didn't need to. And that was thanks to Will Lewis annoying the shit out of him. And I love it, Will Lewis not having so much of a factor is not as bad as James Sicily not having a factor for Hawthorn. Sicily is clearly more influential and important for Hawthorn than what Will Lewis is for us. And I like what Will Lewis is doing. He's playing that Patrick Voss rage baiting type role. And I kind of like that, because we need more guys to... It's a good way to, piss off, the opposition. and throw them off the game a little. If you're not having much influence, when you got ball in hand, try and have a little bit of influence off the ball and just try and be an annoying little shit. And that's what Will Lewis was. So he did a very good job rage baiting James Sicily. You love to see it. Now this guy, Nick Coffield. Again, he's one of those bottom six players that's like on the fringe of the team, and he's been injured a lot in his Bulldogs career in the 3 years he's been here, but he did have a crucial couple of moments on Friday night. With 3 minutes to go, the ball's coming inside 50. Mitch Lewis on Buku Karmas. Karmas loses him, and Lewis had to take him mark, but then Coffield spoils it out of Lewis's hands as he was about to really take that mark. Now, it probably should have been a mark. He did have good control of it, Mitch Lewis, but he didn't. You got to place the whistle, and never came, and Coffield spoiled it out of his hands, and it went through for a point. That was clutch number 1. That was the first clutch thing Nick Coffield did. The second one was, with 20 seconds to go, it was in the middle of the ground, in the centre square. Jack Ginnivan had it, He tries to hit up Connor McDonald or Dylan Moore, one of those players, and then Nick Coffield comes in and just spoils it with the fist and just basically ices the game, ruling out any chance of Hawthorn trying to get a draw and trying to get a score in the final 15 seconds of the game. That was so clutch. Nick Coffield gained all the meterage and the time with that spoil, and that was fantastic to see. And as soon as the foul siren went, all the boys just went to him. All the boys went to him. Every single player just went to him to congratulate him and celebrate that with him, because that was a massive, massive spoil that prevented a possible entry and a possible shot at goal for Hawthorn, on the final sirens. That was fantastic from Nick Coffield there. Another unsung hero from a gritty, grindy win on Friday night. Final thoughts are, I'm stoked. An awesome win. It makes me feel like the Bulldogs can do something this year. It's been a really weird year, 8-5 with a terrible percentage of 94. Injuries and just like the highs and lows of this season. It's been a really weird year, but it's disappointing the Bulldogs. But I'm back, as in I'm back enjoying the Bulldogs. This game against Hawthorn proved to me that maybe we are still a really good team, and maybe we have a chance of doing something really special this year. I don't know. But in order to continue on the momentum, we have to beat Adelaide, and that's who we play next. The Crows coming off a famous win against the Cats. We played them at Marvel Stadium. It's only a 6-day break for both teams, so that's riveting. But should be an interesting contest. We did beat the Crows earlier this year, and both teams know how to win in the clutch, so I expect it to be another close game, which is going to test the heart rate, but I'm up for it. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed the win, and as always, go you mighty Bulldogs. See you next time.